Every year, at the beginning of the year, I make a headpiece inspired by Pantone's Colour of the Year. This is called the Pantone Challenge, and every year I try to challenge myself to get to that color in new ways. Like I made a Viva Magenta Tam O'Shanter by just dyeing it. Then, the next year, I made a Peach Fuzz bonnet by combining different yarns and optically mixing. Last year it was Mocha Mousse, and I combined Zwartbles and alpaca to create that perfect Mocha Mousse color. 2026, however, is this color. There are many other creators who have eloquently told you why this color is not awe-inspiring or in any case inspirational. I'm not going to repeat that. I will put some links in the description. But yeah, we're working with this year. Cloud Dancer, to say it in an elitist way. Some creative voices clamor for a new color of the year and that we should all ignore Pantone, go with phthalo green and stuff, but I think it is actually an engaging challenge. How do I challenge myself without color being the challenge in this challenge? I could challenge myself by saying challenge a lot less in one sentence, but Pantone took out the color out of this challenge, which means that we're actually left with the color of white sheep's wool. This is Cloud Dancer. So I wanted to challenge myself with that idea of a cloud. How can I turn this cloud into even more of a cloud? How do I spin this in a way that is so lofty and soft it almost feels like air? To me, the true mastery of spinning is being able to spin a lopi yarn, an unspun yarn. And I know that lopi yarns are traditionally spun with Icelandic wool. I do not have Icelandic wool, but I want to challenge myself in spinning such a low twist single that it firstly stands on its own as a single and I don't need to ply it, is also sturdy enough to work with, and just has all the feelings of a soft night's cloud. I think that will be my challenge with the Pantone challenge for this year. And for that I'm not, as I said, using Icelandic wool, but this Bleu du Maine that was prepped by a friend of mine. It is squishy, crunchy like a cloud. Are clouds crunchy? In my world they are. This wool, this Bleu du Maine, is already prepped, but I'm going to try and get it through my diz to make it even thinner of roving. That's what I've gathered from my preliminary Google search, is that you actually want kind of pencil roving to make this lopi spinning easier on you. So let's do that. I also just remembered while making these little nests that there is a technique to just spin unspun, like literally unspun wool, not lopi yarn. And I think if lopi yarn fails, if I am too frustrated with spinning it, that might be plan B, like just knit a hat straight off the cloud. But first we are going to try plan A, and that is to try and spin some lofty singles. And to spin some lofty singles, we want a wheel with a slow ratio, and this Louet S40 is my slowest wheel. You can go really, really slow. With it being a travel wheel, it is, however, a pretty awkward angle to film. But let's try, wait, no. Since it's singles, I want to spin the other way around than what I'm used to. Let's try. I have read that you want a twist per inch. Oh wait, maybe you should put on the brake band, even though you want loose tension. Ooh, that's probably already too much twist. Go even slower. I don't mind that there is like big lumpy bits over here. I'm not going for a very consistent yarn, as this is the very first time I'm trying this. Just trying to be very slow and mindful about it. Having sloppy bits probably gives even more of a cloudy feeling, right? Right? With the S10 being such a small travel wheel, it is also true that it has small bobbins, so it's full after, I think, the full 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to take this off and see if this stands on its own as a yarn. I will probably fold it a little bit, like lightly felt it, but do it whenever I have spun a hat's worth. First success! I could get it off the bobbin without it breaking. So it does have enough twist to hold. However, I do think that whenever I'm going to let this loose, it's going to curl up all over the place. Oh, that actually is not as much curling as I had expected. Putting my niddy noddy somewhere was tricky. Oh, and it is very bouncy. That looks like one soft, cloudy single, doesn't it? Check, Pantone challenge! You can take the color out of Pantone, but not the challenge. Yeah, there are some like curly cues every now and then when the yarn gets a little bit thinner. But, you know, with like a little bit of aggressive wet setting, yeah, I am optimistic that this is going to turn out into usable yarn. To me, a workable singles yarn is like the epitome of spinner and mastership. Like, that's the level I want to reach, because I have this feeling that with plied yarn you can about hide any flaw. Just put a ply against it and then you've got usable nice yarn. A lot of my yarn is super inconsistent, but you don't see it because it is plied. And spinning a singles yarn means that I have to let go of that safety net of the ply, making it look like a usable good yarn anyway. So this is why, to me, that feels like such a level of mastery of spinning. Like, you need to know your wheel, your tension, your ratio, how fast you're going. You need to really have that Fingerspitzengefühl of the yarn. As you can see, my singles yarn was very inconsistent and very slubby and very curly cues. So yeah, I'm not a spinning master. I'm just a random goblin spinning on the internet. But I do find it fun to do this. Like, I'm really excited about this yarn. I'm almost through all of my Bleu de Main, actually. That's a little bit scary because I have this much yarn. I don't know how much I'm going to need for a hat. Like, it's super bulky yarn, of course. I'm going to use really big needles to knit the fluffiest, cloudiest hat that you can imagine, but I hope I have enough. Like, this was 13 wraps around my niddy noddy, so that's like almost 20 meters. We shall see in the end, but this is what we have. I have 3 more nests. Let's spin that final skein of today. What's happening? Why are we not? Oh, yeah, that's not great. The yarn wasn't caught on the bobbin, but between the bobbin and the flyer. That is not where we want it. Hopefully that remedied it without adding too much twist. Got 3 really squishy, soft singles, and now we're probably going to make them a little bit less soft by scaring them. That's a joke. But you probably understand that joke only if you speak Dutch. If you want to shock things in Dutch, you could also say that you want to scare them. It's like schrikken. You schrik the yarn. Or yeah, eggs, you can schrik as well. So I'm going to put them in hot water, cold water for a bit, agitate it so that the singles yarn is a little bit more sturdy and knit worthy. Hoppa! And to give this yarn even more strength, I'm going to put it through a little whacking, or well, thwacking. Yeah! And hopefully this will also give it a nice cloudy halo. I decided that for the knitting portion of this video, I needed to go with as simple a thing as possible. So I cast on. It is actually my very first cast on of 2026. It is January 1st. Happy New Year, friends. So first cast on. And I decided that I'm going to go with garter stitch because I think that will also give like the knitted fabric a cloud-like appearance. Now, not only am I going to do a very simple stitch, I think I'm just going to make one of those terminally silly pussy hats. Like the one where you just knit a rectangle, sew it together, and when you put it on top of your head, it looks like you have kitty ears. I think that is what's going to happen. Just the simplest of simple things to make this very bulky textured singles stand out. Is it lopi yarn? No, but it is that. Bulky textured singles. And that is something I had not spun before either, so check. Challenging myself in 2026. And I'm knitting this on a 7mm pair of needles. For the really bulky fluffy part, that's going to be ideal, but I think this is also going to be a hat that leaves a lot of wind through, because some of the stitches, as you can see over here, are a bit thin for 7mm, but we'll see. I think it's going to be an interesting and textured hat nonetheless. Now, of course, even more so than being a little bit silly, a pussy hat is a symbol of protest, of rebellion, of kicking against the shins of the status quo, and more so of the patriarchy. Internationally, globally recognized as such. I mean, it was first used during the Women's March in 2017 in Washington, D.C., but of course, all over the world, people have copied the idea of a pussy hat. And it is not without its flaws, of course. It is a little bit only inclusive to white cis women. But it still is, I think, very much recognized as a symbol of protesting against whatever the hell is happening in our world right now. Unlike the blurb that Pantone wrote with their newest color, the Cloud Dancer, where they actually try to calm people in this world. We need to be zen. That's a weird message. I am very much enjoying the texture of this yarn. It looks so handmade. I don't know how else to describe it, but like so rustic, handmade, lovely. And I hope that this really inconsistent bit of spinning. I think this was the first time I tried this. Also gives a little bit of confidence to spinners who are just starting out and think that their first yarns do not look good. No, you just need to knit with them. I am very serious. You just need to knit with your very unruly slobby yarns and it just looks amazing. Trust me. If you're going to trust me on one thing this entire year, then it is to knit with your yarn. Even if it looks a little bit weird as a yarn, just do it. Or crochet or weave, whatever, your craft, but do it with the yarns. And it's this really handmade feeling that will stand out in this world where everything is fast fashion produced and AI slop. This is the antidote to that, I am 100% sure. And now for the ultimate test, actually, for this cloud dancer hat, my single spun yarn. Will it keep me warm when it is actually cold outside? Like it is actively snowing in this point. Can I stay warm with this singles yarn, this cloud yarn? I feel like I could camouflage really good in this snow with his hat, and I could also audition for the role of sheep, especially if I wear my very chunky white handspun sweater as well. Yeah, but let's test it. Can I stay warm in the snow while it's actively snowing with this single spun knit hat? Can we just appreciate fresh snow knurping? There is not a lot of wind though today. I think an even more ultimate test for the warmth of this hat would be a windy snow day, because that would be cold. But right now it's not a very windy day, not at all, and where I am feeling most cold right now is my legs and my fingers, but my ears are warm. That's a good thing. Let's continue testing for a while. Also, I just feel so cute. I know there is a lot of snark about Pantone's Cloud Dancer, like rightfully so, but it makes me feel like a sheep, and now I'm cute. Maybe more white fleece spinning this year. You know, maybe that's what Pantone is saying. Spinners, you need to spin more white fleeces. Wink, 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 wink. That was some artificial wind and my ears are still warm. Wee, 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 wee. I don't know, I'm just having a moment of a lot of energy. I'm sorry if that comes across weird on video. What better way to literally start a new year than with a silly little dopamine project? Like, this was done in just a mere couple of hours. First day of the year, first knit of the year. And well, I do think I managed the task of making it look like Cloud Dancer. It has something cloudy about it, and it's not just the color. If Pantone doesn't give me a color, I will tackle this challenge in other ways. And I think this time texture, structure was a good way. Like it, yeah, it's a cloud. It's a cloudy hat. It's a cloudy cat hat. For the lopi yarn side of things, I think I need some more practice. But also I think that if it were differently prepped wool, that would also have been easier. Like the last bit of Bleu du Maine that I spun in this way was prepped by a different friend, and she combed it, while the first Bleu du Maine was carded by my friend. And I think the solution lies somewhere in between. Like first comb the yarn and then card it. I think then it would be a much more consistent, smoother experience, and not so much of the actual pulling that I had to do to have the fibers separate from one another. Because I think that's what caused most of the really thin bits where I was like fiddling around with the wool, but then the twist also coming in because I was still treadling, which of course is also a me issue, but I think if I were to try it again, that is what I would do. Make sure that it is really smoothly prepped, carded fiber. But for this instance, actually this is better. It is much more like a dancing cloud, like a cloud dancer. And while there might be very many objections to the color cloud dancer, I think for us as crafters, maybe it is an incentive to value the natural color of wool a little bit more. I mean, we probably already do value the color of wool a lot. Natural colors of wool are so pretty. But personally, for me, I think I like to go towards the more naturally colored fleeces, like the Shetland that I spun, a blue tassel, a zwartbles, and maybe I keep all my white fleeces just for dyeing. But I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe this year is the year that I will just spin an entire white fleece. Maybe. Anyway, this is my iteration of the Pantone challenge for 2026. If you like this kind of fiber shenanigans, then maybe you could like, comment or subscribe. But of course, that is all up to you. And as for me, I will see you in a next video. But before we do that, maybe you could take a look at some more spinning and or knitting shenanigans. Bye!